Hi, welcome to Barker Canine Academy. Today we're going to be talking about heat exhaustion, also known as hyperthermia. This is essentially when the temperature outside is too hot for your dog's body to be able to regulate it. Why is this such a big deal? Why do we talk about this all the time? So what happens to the body when it is too warm? So essentially what will happen is your organs will start to dysfunction, which can cause to organ failure and then can lead to death. There is a point to where the body gets so hot that the myelin sheaths over your nerves will start to actually disintegrate. So it can be very dangerous. What is the normal body temperature for a dog? They actually run a little bit higher than we do. So the normal body temperature for a dog is 100.5 to 102.5. That's their normal body temperature. If they go into hyperthermia or heat exhaustion, that is when their body temperature is over 103. There are different types of dogs that are at a higher risk for heat exhaustion. So your very young dogs, your senior dogs, dogs that are small, so 5 pounds and less, are more at risk for heat exhaustion. But the main thing that pops in my head when I think of high risk factor for heat exhaustion is brachycephalic dogs. And these are your short-nosed or short-muzzled dogs. So your French bulldogs, your English bulldogs, your pugs, Boston Terriers, they are all brachycephalic breeds, and they are at a higher risk for heat exhaustion because they don't have a lot of nose to regulate their breathing to cool their body. They also, a lot of times, their nares are narrowed, and nares is just the opening of your nose. So that's your nares. And on brachycephalic breeds, they tend to be very narrow, and it doesn't really allow a lot of air to get in, which makes it difficult for them to regulate their body heat. So how can we beat the heat? How can we prevent your dog from having heat exhaustion? So one thing that you can do is keep your dog indoors during the hottest times of the day. So from noon to like 4 is generally the hottest time of the day for this area. Don't want your pet to be in direct sunlight all the time, so make sure that there is a shaded area available for them to go. Have a kiddie pool that they can have access to. Make sure that the water isn't freezing cold. You want to make sure that it's lukewarm water, or maybe on the cool side. Keeping your pet well groomed. During the summertime or during hot periods, it might be a good idea to cut their coat a little bit shorter than you normally would. We know what we can do to prevent it. So how do we know if your dog is starting to get overheated or go into hyperthermia? So symptoms of heat exhaustion is panting excessively, a temperature above 103, vomiting, dehydration, pale gums or bright red gums, seizures, disorientation, excessive drooling, small amounts or no urine being produced, rapid or irregular heartbeat, wobbling around or drunken movements, and unconsciousness. So there are some things that you do not want to do when you suspect that your dog is suffering from heat exhaustion. The biggest key when dealing with heat exhaustion is do not cool the body off too fast. If you cool the body off too fast, it will send your dog into shock. And then not only are you dealing with hyperthermia, you're also dealing with shock. Hose your dog off with the water hose. Don't give them an ice bath. Don't do anything that's going to cool the body off too fast. So what can you do to help your pet if you suspect that your pet is suffering from heat exhaustion? Bring them some room temperature water. You can place fans around your pet. You can bring them inside into air condition and restrict their activity. If you check your pet's gums and they are a pale color or a bright red color, and we're kind of starting to wobble around and we're really getting into hyperthermia symptoms, then the biggest thing that I cannot stress to you enough is get your dog to a veterinary hospital. One thing that I do want to bring up, since we're talking about hot days and the summer and all of that, is hot asphalt. So the hot sidewalk. A hot sidewalk can burn the bottom of your dog's paws. So if you could imagine getting a 2-degree or 3-degree burn on your feet and then having to walk around on it, it's incredibly painful. So the key with this on a hot day is if you put your hand down on the sidewalk and you hold it there for about 5 seconds. And if you can keep your hand on the sidewalk for that full 5 seconds without it burning your hand, it's safe for your dog to walk on. If you can't, it's not safe for your dog to walk on. You can buy little shoes or covering that you can put on, like little socks that you can put on your dog to help protect their feet when you're out for a walk. So just to kind of give you an idea on how hot the sidewalk can get. If the temperature outside is 70 degrees, then the asphalt or sidewalk is going to be about 125 degrees. If it is 86 degrees outside, that asphalt is going to be 135 degrees. If it's 87 degrees outside, it can get up to 143 degrees. So that is incredibly hot. So please keep that in mind when you're walking your dog during the summertime. Another point that I want to bring up, since we're kind of talking about heat exhaustions, is this is the #1 cause for heat exhaustion in dogs, is leaving them unattended in a vehicle. Do not leave your dog unattended in a vehicle. The reason why is because your vehicle is going to act like an oven. So if it is 75 degrees outside, it takes 10 minutes to get to 100 degrees inside the car. If it's 85 degrees outside, it takes 7 minutes to get up to 100 degrees in the car. If it's 100 degrees outside, within 15 minutes, it can reach 140 degrees in a car. 15 minutes. So just running into Walgreens to get something to drink and pick up your prescription and run back out is probably going to take you 15 minutes or more. And it's 140 degrees in your car. Don't leave your dog unattended in a car. So just to kind of briefly go over what we went over today, we talked about what is hyperthermia and heat exhaustion. We know that the normal body temperature for a dog, 100.5 to 102.5. Overheating starts at about 103. We know that small dogs, puppies and senior dogs and brachycephalic dogs like your Boston Terriers are at a higher risk for heat exhaustion. We learned what to do if you suspect that your pet has heat exhaustion. We know what not to do if your pet has heat exhaustion. We know different things that we can do to help prevent your pet from having heat exhaustion. And we talked about pay attention to how hot the asphalt is when you take your dog out for a walk. And then never, ever, ever leave your dog unattended in a vehicle. So that's everything for this video. Put a thumbs up if you liked it. Make sure you hit that bell to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. Thank you for tuning into Barker Canine Academy, and we'll see you next time.